Hello everyone, welcome in. In this video, we're going to be talking about the copyright lawsuit brought by Jared Leisek, aka Travari Media, against Joshua Cantu, aka Juke Media. Before we get started, because this is an ongoing legal case and I'm going to heavily be giving my opinion on the legal issues, I'm not your attorney. This is not legal advice. This is just my opinion as a lowly paralegal. I do happen to really love copyright issues. I extensively research them. I've written about them. This is one of my favorite areas of law. And mainly I'm covering this because I'm not a fan of this guy, Jared Leisek. We'll just put that out there. I'm going to try and remain completely unbiased in my coverage of the lawsuit, but he is not my favorite person. I really do not like this guy. That's just my opinion, but you will see why. He was accused, I think, a year or so ago by his cousin of basically sexually assaulting her when she was younger. There is an email from Jared to this cousin that basically admits it. He just had his preliminary hearing like 2 or 3 days ago where he pled not guilty, but obviously that case is moving. He is in some pretty hot water legally for some very disgusting accusations because he basically admits it in that email. I have no reason to give him any sympathy for these accusations. It's pretty bad. As you can imagine, because of that, a lot of people broke off from his team. This is, I think, what the team pretty much looked like at the time of these accusations coming out. The team, meaning Adventures with Purpose, is the YouTube channel that Jared Leisek started. He and the team of people basically go out into bodies of water and try to find missing people who went missing near bodies of water or are assumed to be, underwater. I guess they have been successful in finding some people that does not overpower the accusations against Jared or some of his dealings with his channel, which we'll get into before we get into this lawsuit. Okay, so real quick, this video is about a year old. It's basically, let me double check here. Yeah, 1 year ago. By a pretty large content creator, and I saw this posted to a Reddit, so I clicked on it thinking it was new. Even though it's not, it is still relevant because in this video, Jared Leisek basically talks about poaching other individuals who were under contract, and that's what this whole lawsuit is going to be about. So very hypocritical in my opinion, but he does say in this video, Jared Leisek, that he has built many million-dollar businesses and has written contracts and gone through all this stuff before, and that he will have no problem shutting down this other little company if they were to come after him for taking one of their editors. I don't even know if they had said they were going to or not, but he preemptively made this video. He says in the video a couple times, I don't know if, I don't know how you guys are going to do this, but just in case, don't mess with me, right? So if you are interested, this is the video. You can go and watch that. But we will get into the meat of the issue here, which is this is Josh Cantu. You can see him kind of, I believe he's right here in the little group picture over here. He was the videographer and editor for Adventures with Purpose. He is not the person that Jared Leisek made that video about. This is a different editor. Just to clarify on that, but they are both editors, which if you have any understanding about, copyright and the back end of content creation, if you are outsourcing your work product, so to speak, you definitely want some form of protection when you are giving material that someone could use and steal as their own. So even though it's still assumed, you want to cover yourself, because if Jared Leisek hadn't put all these agreements into place, nothing could have came from this, but Josh did sign a multitude of agreements, which I got my hands on, and we will go through, because as unfortunate as it is, because like I said, I'm not a fan of Jared Leisek, I do think that Josh is in a uh, an uphill battle kind of thing with this if the allegations are true. So just to clarify, Joshua is the defendant, Jared is the plaintiff. Jared is suing Joshua over copyright and breaches of the contract. These contracts are how Jared is able to bring the copyright infringement lawsuit so heavily. Okay, so there's only a few defenses to copyright, and this is why I'm also concerned for Joshua, because if the allegations as alleged are true by Jared Leisek, then we don't have a lot of defenses to the possible copyright infringement. Number one is fair use. It would not be considered fair use because you had signed away your rights to using this footage. In Joshua's case, proof the work was independently created and not copied. That also wouldn't apply because, again, he signed a contract saying that this is not his work. Innocence, basically proving that there is no reason to believe the work was copyrighted, not going to work. They have contracts. The use is within a license agreement in place. Unless the footage uploaded to Joshua's YouTube page fell in the agreement of this behind-the-scenes footage that Josh was allowed to post on his own accord, then it would not fall within the license agreement. Unfortunately, I am not able to verify the similarity in footage because Joshua has indeed removed the videos, so I cannot actually verify if the footage is similar or not. Abandonment, that one does not matter. It's not going to apply in this. Misuse of copyright by the copyright owner, that's also not going to work because all these contracts clearly state who the owner is, and it's unfortunately Jared Leisek. Statute of limitations, the owner must file a suit within 3 years. That doesn't matter because he brought the suit quick enough. So these defenses, that's why I'm a little bit weary, unless this is a complete fabrication on Jared Lesek's part, and he does not actually have proof that Joshua used copyrighted footage on his YouTube channel, then we're good. But let's assume for a second that Joshua did use this footage. None of these defenses are going to work, and that is extremely unfortunate. So fair use may be the only way he could try to argue this, but again, these are the 4 factors of fair use. So these contracts and NDAs kind of negate the ability to claim fair use on this footage because you already admitted that you would give it up, right? That you had no right to it. So the type of use, commercial, nonprofit, or educational, Joshua may be able to claim it's educational, but if he had monetization on those videos, that kind of changes things. Nature of the work, factual or creative, it does kind of fall into both. It is very much the genre of finding these people is, it pulls on people's heartstrings. It's part of maybe the true crime genre that I think, how do I say this? There are certain ways in which true crime and content creators and people doing these kind of things, I think, are taking advantage of sad people and misfortunes and using it to create content because they know it will get views. Now, do they actually really care about finding people as well, or whatever other types of people who cover things salaciously, maybe? Again, this is just my opinion. I don't have a lot of respect for that. I find it to be inflammatory and things like that. So that's why the nature of this work kind of falls in between, because are you actually going out and searching for people in bodies of water using, technology to do that and teaching people possibly along the way, and it's all a factual thing. But also there's a lot of creative license used. There's a lot of sobby sounding music. There's a lot of dramatic editing and stuff like that. So it's also creative. I don't know exactly on Joshua's videos how he edited them, but if it was a very creative rendition of this, then that's not going to work out well in his favor. Again, this gets very in the weeds of copyright law, but again, as someone who loves YouTube and stuff, this is my bread and butter. So I truly, truly am worried for Joshua on this. Portion of copyright used in relation to the whole copyrighted work. Again, most of this does not matter because of all the documents he signed, but if he could make an argument for fair use, he did not use a whole lot of the footage, I would assume, so maybe they would give him some allowance on that. And then the effect on the value of the original copyrighted work, right? So basically, did you impact Jared Lesik's channel? Did you bury his lead or anything like that? That's kind of what that part means. And so if he is able to, he being Joshua, claim fair use on any of this, these would be the factors that he would have to meet to basically be granted that it is fair use. Now we can get into some of this as to why I'm very, very worried, why I'm glad that Joshua's legal fund, I believe, as of this morning when I looked, it's at $23,000. Do I think that's enough? Should this actually, keep playing out? Maybe not, because this will take some serious defense here because you signed documents, right? So always have to remember that when you've signed a document, you want to act in accordance with that to the best of your ability, and probably, at least in my lowly paralegal opinion, get a lawyer's advice before doing anything that could attempt to break it. I know it sounds silly when it's like, this guy's a YouTuber and another guy's an editor. Like, why are they going through the legal system? Why is this happening? Well, because they brought the law into it when they had contracts, and everyone should be aware when you're signing something that you will be held accountable most likely, and you do not want to just willy-nilly say, oh, it's okay, I can do it and nothing's going to happen. You always want to check with a lawyer once you've signed a contract before you think about breaking it. Am I saying that Joshua broke the contract? No. Does it look like he did? Probably. Okay. Now, does that mean that Jared Leisek is a good guy and that he deserves to win this? No, I don't like this guy. That's why I'm looking into this and I'm trying to find a way out for Joshua Cantu. As far as it is right now, I'm not seeing one, and I got to dig deeper. But to know that you're at the bottom of the mountain is a very good thing. So, yeah, we got to know that we're working on this. This is not great. I'm starting with the second claim for relief, basically the breach of the NDA. I have the full NDA. If anyone would like to see them, I can post them in the Adventures with Purpose Reddit, or I can give them to you. Just leave a comment and ask if you would like to see them. I didn't put them on here because my program wasn't letting me take out the addresses and stuff, and I believe it was Joshua's personal address that's on there. And so I didn't want to go back and do that in post editing because it always messes up my videos. Anyways, if you do want them, I'll try to properly redact them and then put them out there for you guys because they are very interesting. And I've only seen people post snippets, but I got the whole initial complaint and all of the exhibits. So basically what the second claim here is saying is that the plaintiffs incorporate by reference all these previous paragraphs. They're just in those paragraphs, since I'm not showing you them, talk about who everyone is and establishing that they had a relationship and what they do, okay? Here it says, Cantu did business with and solicited business contacts found or otherwise referred by Adventures with Purpose, by Adventures with Purpose for purposes of circumventing Adventures with Purpose without Adventures with Purpose's written approval. That is basically saying that once Cantu left and essentially went to go try and make his own videos, he solicited people who were in the business circle of Adventures with Purpose. And if you look over here at Section 4, Non-Circumvention Clause, for a period of 5 years at the end of the term of this agreement, the recipient will not attempt to do business with or otherwise solicit any business contacts found or otherwise referred by owner, aka Adventures with Purpose, Jared Leisek, Travari Media, to recipient for the purposes of circumventing the results of which shall be to prevent the owner from realizing or recognizing profit, fees, or otherwise without the specific written approval of the owner. If such circumvention shall occur, the owner shall be entitled to any commissions due pursuant to this agreement or relating to such transaction. So boom, we have some monetary ramifications right there. We can continue. Cantu solicit and engage business with these specific people, engaging with them without written approval. Now, this part, number 51, Cantu's videos listed in Exhibit F use the same formula as Adventures with Purpose in regards to how it tells a story. That could possibly be considered trade secrets. We will see. Cantu used Adventures with Purpose trade secret sonar skills in the videos listed in Exhibit F. So that's also not good if that is true. Personally, I have no clue how sonar skills could be trade secret. Did you build a new sonar machine? Did you put it on a different part of the boat? Do you look at it different? I don't know what could be a trade secret with those sonar skills. Something I would definitely argue for Josh is that sounds really dumb. Maybe they do use a better sonar, like maybe they do have something. If someone can explain that to me, because I'm not very familiar with their content, being Adventures with Purpose. I don't know anything about sonar, but I feel like if I was the attorney, I'd hone in on that because that just sounds dumb to me. Unless they really do have something that I'm missing. But we'll see. I just feel like they are successful when they find people because they're the only ones looking. They're putting in the effort, like doesn't mean that you're better at it than anyone else. If anyone else went to look, they'd find them too. They're obviously there, the people in the bodies of water. So it makes me think there's really nothing special that you're doing. You're just the one doing it, right? And like there's always like, I don't know. Anyways, these secret skills were confidential information as defined in Section 1 of the Non-Disclosure Agreement. The above violates the limited license to use this information contained in Section 8 of the Non-Disclosure Agreement. Cantu used the confidential information to solicit Adventures with Purpose's followers on YouTube, which is a violation of Section 2 of the Non-Disclosure Agreement, which is not to copy or modify. The recipient will not copy or modify any confidential information without the prior written consent of the owner. So it basically falls under all of that as well, also the storytelling formula, I guess. So so that is the second claim. Now this is the first claim, the one that is most important to me, the copyright infringement claim, because this is the one where essentially not only would Joshua be, if the judgment were not in his favor, he would not only be like responsible for whatever monetary damages came from violating the editor agreement and the NDA, but also probably get all of the monetization from these videos being owed to Jared. So yeah, that's why this one's a very, very big deal to me. Plaintiff Travari did not consent to, authorize, permit, or allow in any manner the described use of Plaintiff Travari's unique and original material and or work on defendant's website. So let's take a look right here. Number 7, this is from the editor agreement, work product ownership. It's pretty thorough in my opinion. Any copyrightable works, ideas, or other information, collectively work product, developed in whole or in part by editor in connection with the services, shall be the exclusive property of client. Upon request, editor shall sign all documents necessary to confirm or perfect the exclusive ownership of client to the work product. Pretty thorough. They are saying this is ours and you're just working on it, It's, I guess a similar thing would be like, just because someone comes to do work on your house doesn't mean it's their house now, even though they may have put in a lot of big and beautiful work and made it the most beautiful house in the world, still not their house. So it's kind of that similar thinking. So number 3, this is from the NDA, unauthorized disclosure of information in injunction. An injunction basically says, stop doing what you're doing. If it appears that the recipient, aka Joshua Cantu, Juke Media, has disclosed or has threatened to disclose confidential information in violation of this agreement, the owner shall be entitled to an injunction to restrain the recipient from disclosing the confidential information in whole or in part. The owner shall not be prohibited by this provision from pursuing other remedies, including a claim for losses and damages. So another monetary hit for Joshua should this not go in his favor. Number 2, protection from confidential information. This is also from the NDA. Recipient understands and acknowledges that confidential information has been developed or obtained by owner by the investment of significant time, effort, and expense, and that confidential information is a valuable, special, and unique asset of the owner, which provides the owner with a significant competitive advantage and needs to be protected from improper disclosure in consideration for the receipt by the recipient of the confidential information. The recipient agrees as follows. And that was basically to not disclose anything. Now, up here at the top, these YouTube links, this is where I get concerned. You have basically the ones with the blue hyperlink are Adventures with Purposes videos, and they still have the hyperlink. Now, these infringing quote unquote videos, Joshua's videos, are also hyperlinks, but those videos have been removed, like I mentioned. A couple things that aren't looking good for Josh. Same exact name on these videos, unless they weren't titled like this, and this is just how it's being put in as evidence. That is not great. But see how it says title abbreviated here and title of video shoot, using the same exact titles, unless this is behind the scenes allowable footage as per the editor agreement, then this does not look good. I cannot verify the similarity or the storyline of these footage or video, of the whole video in itself and the footage that's within it, because that's really what this is all about. If these videos by Joshua have been basically lifted, in for lack of a better term, that is not great. Now, do I understand a possible mentality of doing something like this when having to kick the bucket over and run when you find out that the guy you're working for is being accused of, assaulting a child? Then, yeah, I totally understand. Is it catching up? If that is what happened, possibly, and it's quite unfortunate because no one, from what I can see, likes Jared Leisek. That's my opinion, but no one likes this guy. No one wants this guy to be able to have a claim against someone like Joshua. Joshua has made a video, talking about this, in which he features his family and asks for help, and that's where the GoFundMe came from. In that video, he claims that this is an attack to try to silence him. Should that be the case, then there would be an ability in the response to bring a counterclaim for basically suing us for no reason, right? And so it'd be like, well, hey, why are you suing me and my company? I was only making the behind the scenes videos that I was allowed to make. That's really the only argument I see here, because he is allowed to make behind the scenes footage videos for his own channel. Okay, Josh. But if that's not what happened here, if he decided to lift the videos, lift the footage, lift the storyline, and make his own basically, underwater looking for people channel, I think that's not going to go good in court. Really, that's going to be really bad. But basically, I really hope that these videos are, within the fair use and within the guidelines that were laid out in these agreements to make behind the scenes videos. Maybe that's one good thing about the names being the same. Maybe these really are behind the scenes videos, and Josh is actually being attacked and trying to be silenced for no reason. And if that is the case, I'll be really, really happy to see the response, because then Jared could be in some serious hot water for trying to stop other people. If Josh was acting within the bounds of these agreements and he is getting sued for no reason, then you guarantee there's going to be some counterclaims coming. I'm really hoping that is what can be the case. As for right now, these agreements are really solid. Okay, I'm not saying ironclad, but solid, and Joshua agreed to them. So we're looking at somewhat of an uphill battle if he violated them. If not, and everything's all good, I hope Jared gets countersued personally. The last one that I featured is this fifth claim for relief. Plaintiffs incorporated by reference paragraph 1 through 65 of this complaint is through basically saying, again, all the information above is still relevant. And this is where we get into some more interesting issues. If this is true, again, this is bad for Josh. If not, putting such specific actions that are false allegations in this lawsuit would have ramifications for Jared. So We'll go through these. A. Cantu failed to place all completed edits on plaintiff Travari's SSD hard drive. Cantu failed to return the hard drive. Cantu failed to delete any and all files provided to or used, including the files that he uploaded to his YouTube channel. Again, my only argument to that is, are these actually behind the scenes footage that's allowed to be used or not? Cantu used plaintiff Travari's footage that the editor agreement required to be deleted or returned. Cantu's actions also violate Section 7 of the editor agreement, which states that Adventure's Purpose has ownership of all property and intellectual property of Cantu's work product under the scope of the agreement, which you can read over here. Section 3, draft shall be uploaded as unlisted onto Joshua's YouTube page, and then once Jared or whoever approves it saw it and says it's good, Joshua was supposed to upload it to Adventures with Purposes Dropbox and then delete the unlisted video from his page and basically put everything on the hard drive, send it back, and delete it off his computer, in layman's terms. Essentially, they're claiming that's not what happened here. If that is the case, and say Jared had all this footage still, and when everything was going bad with Jared, he basically was like, crap, my main source of income is going away. I can upload my own videos and they might make a bit of money. If that is the case, it's going to look really bad for Joshua, unfortunately, because that's just a direct violation of these agreements. And maybe everyone, if that is the case as well, maybe him and everyone at the time thought that Jared was going to fall, and that everything would go down and maybe he wouldn't be able to, come after them so hard. Unfortunately, sometimes, I got to put this carefully because Jared may or may not be litigious. I don't know. Unfortunately, sometimes people who may or may not have the best intentions grow really fast on social media because they understand how to manipulate. And I won't use an example of Jared or anyone like that because I'm not saying he did that, but I'm saying some people know how to take advantage of salaciousness and things like that. The direct example is the Alexi Treviso case. When you go look up the motion hearing, the only, live court feed that we've had in that case, it's posted as trash can baby motion hearing or whatever. And it's like, awesome title, guys, but those channels have millions and millions of followers and know how to get people to click on those kind of things. So I understand, let's say, if you were Joshua and them, morally speaking, you'd think, oh, Jared's been accused of this horrible thing. He's getting charged with it. His channel's going to fall and everyone is going to not respect him. I'm just going to go off and do my own thing. Rightfully so, you'd think that. But sometimes, unfortunately, the way the internet works is people don't seem to care about the bad things that other people do, and they still prop them up as content creators. And so, unfortunately for us, Jared Leisek has only grown in strength and numbers and, monetarily since these allegations have happened. In the video that I showed you guys from a year ago, I believe that, it's mentioned about something about 1 million followers. But if you see here, if I can get back to it, they have like 3 million followers, right? And so this is a steady growth after the allegations have came out. And you'd think that everyone wouldn't support this, but again, it is happening. So I'm not trying to come down extremely hard on Josh. I think anyone and everyone can understand his thought process should he have actually violated these agreements. I do not think he deserves, a serious, like everyone being like, oh, you're an idiot. Why would you do this? That don't say that. Even though if he did, it was a bad decision, possibly. We can totally understand why. Some crazy, disgusting allegations come out against essentially your boss and the owner of your company. And the internet does not take lightly to people who hurt children, right? Like that's the one thing everyone typically can come together on. No matter what your political beliefs, your any kind of religious beliefs, anything. When someone hurts children, everyone comes together to say, you're gross, you're bad, go away. Seen it many times. So I'm pretty sure it was a correct assumption on Joshua and anyone else's part here to think that they could just go along to get along and do what they need to do to survive when it comes to getting some money coming in with what they had available, even if that is some footage. So I think hopefully his attorney can make some kind of really strong argument about this. Does it fall into the actual defenses that he can use if he copyright infringed? Not necessarily, but I do think an argument's an argument. And if anyone sees and hears what was actually going on inside this company with these allegations being brought forth, maybe there will be some leniency, hopefully given, should Joshua have violated these contracts and copyright infringed. I really, really hope it's not the case. I hope that Jared is just being a big butthead with this suit. I'm trying to be pretty careful with what I say again because he is suing people. So yeah, everything I say is my opinion. Even when I mentioned the email that was in response to his, I guess I still have to say, alleged victim, it's pretty damning in my opinion. So yeah, I have my opinions made up on that. I don't think evil excuses evil. And I feel like that is somewhat the excuse he uses in the email. So yeah, Josh, in my opinion, is in an uphill battle. As soon as a response is filed, I will purchase that and I will go through it and try and bring information on that as well. This seems, maybe to some people this is just a small little issue. To me, it's very interesting. It has to deal with real world ramifications on an otherwise just internet figment, right? YouTube channels are a real thing and they're doing real work, but the video being the end product is such an interesting facet of this that you kind of get lost in the good that people try to do in those things and the possible manipulation and the taking advantage of audiences when making that kind of content as well. It's a very interesting issue for me. Just knowing that this guy, Jared Leisek, has made this channel based off of the want to supposedly help people or bring closure or things like that, you must question when he doesn't want to bring closure or help his possible victim and pleads not guilty after having admitted to it in an email. That's just my opinion, but another reason why I'm pretty passionate about trying to find a loophole for Josh in this case. Because I don't have access to those videos, I am limited. Maybe I can use the Wayback Machine or something like that and get access, but they are unlisted, so I cannot access them right now. If anyone has copies of those videos, if anyone can send me it, that would be very helpful because I would like to find loopholes. I'd like to be able to say that it's behind the scenes footage and basically blow Jared Leisek out of the water and figure out what kind of counterclaims Josh could bring that would help him and his family should he be being sued maliciously and with bad intent, unclean hands, So with that being said, thank you so much if you made it this far in this video. If you're interested in following cases like this or the Alexei Trevizo case to trial, please subscribe as I'll be covering them all along the way with a legal focus. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please put them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I do genuinely enjoy the conversation. It's your girl Friday. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.